This is the very first Maker Faire hosted by the folks at Make Magazine. Now this place is literally filled with inventions of all kinds, really wild stuff, including modifications to existing products and, well, I could go on and try to explain it to you, but this is stuff that you really just have to see. So let's go do that. Here at the Maker Faire in San Mateo, California, do-it-yourself mavericks gathered to show off a wide range of inventions.
A Maker Faire is a collection of people who like to make things. They are doing all kinds of different projects. It might be rockets, it might be robots, or bicycles, or segways, or any of those things. It's kind of a private passion that Maker Faire is a chance to bring it out in public and share it with other people.
Some of the creations are low-tech, but still high concept. So what is this interesting contraption behind me with all the tubes here on the barbecue? What is this?
We call it a redneck pool heater. What we're actually doing is we wanted to heat our in-ground pool, about an 8,000 gallon pool. And we looked at the cost of an actual pool heater, and they're like thousands of dollars, like $3,000, $4,000. So we thought, well, if we had a grill sitting there and if we could use it to heat the pool, and so we just started assembling a bunch of copper pipe, 180 feet of copper pipe. We made it so it would actually fit inside the grill. We heat our pool in about 2 days. We use about 3.5 tanks of propane. It costs about $28 to heat a full 8,000 gallon in-ground pool.
And get a load of this homemade self-balancing scooter. At first glance, this thing looks an awful lot like the Segway Human Transporter, but it's clearly not a Segway Human Transporter. This is homemade?
Yeah, I built it myself. I had seen the Segway and thought someone ought to build their own.
That's a pretty sophisticated piece of machinery. How do you replicate something like that?
You don't need that much sophistication. This one uses wheelchair motors and a little 8-bit microcontroller. It took me about a week to get the first version working. I've been tinkering with it for a couple of years, making it better, on and off. It's about 2,500 in parts for this version. It takes a fair bit of experience with electronics and software to get it to work. The plans for it are up on my website, tlb.org.
There were lots of other electric vehicles on display, including these two motorcycles. Tell me a little bit about how this works.
Basically, you've got a pack of batteries. In this case, it's 48 volts DC. And we have a motor and a controller. So those are the main three components: battery, controller, and motor.
So now, there are no gears on this kind of bike, right?
No gears, it's direct drive.
And obviously no engine block, no heads, no exhaust, so you're obviously saving a ton of weight, right? Even though the batteries are heavy?
Yeah, the batteries are a limiting factor, because they're lead. But there's new technologies coming out like lithium. When we convert it to electric, it's so much faster than the original gas version. We take these bikes to the track and race against the gas versions, 2 strokes, and our electrics run circles around them.
But even if you showed up empty-handed, you could still partake in one of the many workshops.
There are a number of workshops, and we have smaller groups of people. Sometimes it's learning how to build a robot. We have a number of workshops that are electronics-oriented, like make a circuit board. Well, a simple one was a Simon game, where you have the lights go off in sequence. People are doing hacking USB keyboards, taking apart the keys and making them into, making the connections into different things. Another popular table we've set up is a take-apart table where we just put like an old laptop on there and some screwdrivers and a Dremel tool and just go apart, see what's inside. We have a recycling center here today. They're taking in old computers and they're trying to make a supercomputer out of just what's turned into the recycling. And to top it off, they're running it off a diesel engine instead of an electric one, and it's powered by veggie oil.
And while some of the inventions were actually pretty practical, like this robotic dustbuster, others fell under the don't try this at home category.
This is an accumulator tank. So this is a high pressure tank charged with propane. You have a 12-volt battery from a cordless drill here that charges a electric solenoid, which releases the entire contents of this tank past the pilot, which right now is just some Kevlar soaked in lighter fluid burning.
And so that wraps up the very first Maker Faire with all kinds of homemade gadgets and gizmos coming out of the minds of some pretty creative people. Until next time, mind? Thanks, sir. I'm just going to take this one home.